Plugins have always played a pretty major role, but nowadays it's just like, the line is kind of gone. I seem to use hardware only when I absolutely need to, and software is just kind of my go-to for everything else, really. When I first started making music, that's when plugins started really taking over the market, and you had like these fully in-the-box producers. I always had just a lust to acquire synthesizers, which I think a lot of people do. I just got an original MS-20. That kind of thing is just, you just turn it on and just kind of giggle at what the filter sounds like. So that's a bit different. I always wanted to have hardware in my studio, and I was very intent on using it. And I even had a 32-channel like mixing desk back in the day, and that really helped play a role in how I shape and sculpt my music. And nowadays, obviously, plugins have gotten so good. I find an EQ that I specifically like for boosting top end, I will use that generally, just because if I open up my EQ menu, there's like 30 plus EQs in there. And probably my favorite one that I use in literally every single track is the BX Digital V2. That plugin literally just lives on our master chain every single time. It sounds incredible. I mean, it's so good that it's a little bit scary, I find, because like you can push that thing really hard and you're not ever getting into like any harsh territory or anything. It's amazing. I mean, and I really love like sweetening up the sides with it. Also the mono maker in the middle, which is obviously placed directly in the middle of the plugin, is just so handy to have on your master. I mean, I usually strip all the other plugins when I send a track off for mastering, but that one will stay on 100% of the time. There's a lot of people that have this kind of software versus hardware mentality. I think take out the verses and just put an and in there. The marriage of the two is the incredible way, I think, to really get the most out of your studio and to just make yourself work in different environments and not necessarily always be confined to the one way of thinking.
Superhuman, just keep your body close to me. Superhuman, and we're superhuman.
Finishing work is really, really important, and that's something that I kind of forced myself to do and then got into the habit of doing so. Of course, that's not going to be possible with every single project. It's still, I think, important to aspire to, when you start something, finish it. It's just a good kind of like process just to seal something off and say, I'm done with this creatively, start on something fresh. That kind of commitment is a little bit lost in the digital age, and that's something that you can kind of continue with if you are committing to finishing work. I devour albums myself. In terms of what I listen to at home, it's always albums from start to finish. So I just feel like it's the best way to kind of get to know an artist is by listening to an album from start to finish. If you listen to a single, that's like having a little bite of a meal. You listen to an album, you have the 3-course meal. You're getting every single flavor that they're trying to give you with their piece of art instead of just like a little snippet, So it's really important that people continue to develop pieces of music that are actually longer than one song, I think. It's a lot more time consuming, obviously, and very scary to make that leap, but it's such a rewarding process. It's one of my kind of like lifelong goals is to find some sort of absurd amount of time to rescore Blade Runner, just for my own vanity and just to say that I've done it at some point. But I still don't think I've listened to this EP since it came out yet. I think there was a previous version of it that was nearly exactly 25 minutes, and I have this kind of little anal retentive lust to make things perfectly, like, if it's like, if I could have a 25-minute EP on the dot, that'll be something checked off my list. I was close to getting 25 minutes, but I think that extra 30 seconds really kind of like tied the EP together. So.